In a little house at the edge of the woods, there lived a boy named Milo. Every night before bed, he would sit on the porch with his grandfather's old telescope and count the stars. He knew them all by name, or at least the names he'd made up for them. But tonight, while he was counting, something extraordinary happened. A star began to fall. It tumbled across the dark like a tiny golden marble, trailing sparks of light. Down, down, down it fell, past the treetops, past the owl who hooted in surprise and landed with a soft thump somewhere deep in the woods. Milo grabbed his coat, stuffed his pockets with biscuits just in case, and ran into the woods. The trees were tall and old, and their branches wove together like a ceiling of leaves. Moonlight dripped through the gaps like silver paint. He hadn't gone far when a small red fox stepped out from behind a mossy rock. Its fur was the color of autumn leaves, and its eyes were bright and clever. "You're looking for the star," the fox said calmly. Milo blinked. "You can talk?" The fox tilted its head. "You can hear me, that's the more interesting question. My name is Bramble. Come, I know where it landed." Bramble led Milo deeper into the woods. They passed through a glade of giant ferns that whispered secrets when the wind blew, and crossed a little stone bridge over a stream that sang in a language Milo almost understood. "Here," Bramble said softly. At the bottom of a mossy hollow, nestled in a bed of soft clover, was the star. It was small and round, like a golden pearl, and its light pulsed slowly like a tiny heartbeat. But the pulse was growing weaker. Milo knelt beside the star. It was warm, like bread fresh from the oven. "Hello, little one," he said gently. "We're going to help you get home." He placed a biscuit beside the star. "In case you're hungry," Bramble smiled. "I don't think stars eat biscuits, Milo." "Everyone likes biscuits," Milo said firmly. And whether it was the biscuit or the kindness, the star's glow flickered brighter. Milo scooped the star gently into his hands. It weighed almost nothing, like holding a warm thought. Bramble led the way back through the woods until they reached a tall hill that rose above the tree line. The sky opened up above them wide and waiting. At the top, the stars felt close enough to touch. Milo looked up and saw it, a constellation shaped like a fox, and right at the tip of its nose there was an empty space. "That's where it belongs," Bramble said quietly. "The Fox Constellation. It's been missing its brightest star." Milo looked at the star in his hands. Part of him wanted to keep it, so warm, so beautiful, so perfectly small. But it didn't belong to him. It belonged to the sky. "Ready?" Bramble asked. Milo lifted his hands high and opened them. "Go home, little star. They're waiting for you." The star trembled. Then, like a tiny golden bird, it soared, up and up, spinning joyfully, trailing a ribbon of warm light. It arced across the dark and slipped into place at the tip of the fox's nose. Click! The constellation was complete, and every star in the fox blazed so bright the whole hilltop glowed gold. They sat together saying nothing, just watching the stars. "Will I see you again?" Milo asked. Bramble's tail swished slowly. "Look for me on nights when the stars are brightest. I'm never far from the fox in the sky." Then he touched his nose to Milo's hand and trotted into the silver grass until he disappeared. Milo walked home through the quiet woods. The trees didn't seem so dark anymore. When he climbed into bed, he looked out the window one last time. The Fox Constellation twinkled above the trees, every star in its place, and the littlest one, right at the tip of the nose, blinked twice, as if to say, "Thank you." Milo smiled, pulled the blanket to his chin, and closed his eyes. And far above, the stars kept watch, gentle and bright, all through the long, soft night.